Okay, we're live from Don Rogers, or the Don, Don Roger. We're live from Don Roger restaurant, and a little early here. We've got some Mono Caro Blancas over in the trees over here. I don't know if I can. I wish I had my camera attached to this. But let me. Yeah, there's a bunch of them over there, but they're up in the trees. So so I'm just gonna wander over there. Not sure if they'll take off when they see me or not. They'll either take off when they see me or they'll come and steal my laptop. So the Mono Carablanca. Hey there, buddy. What are you doing? Here at Don Roger, having breakfast with monkeys. We started up a little bit early here because there's some Mono Carablanca in the tree bouncing around. Mm. Mono Carablanca, muy interesante. We had a monkey in a coconut tree. I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to achieve. He's bouncing pretty good. So if you're just tuning in, I've got the laptop over here by this coconut tree because there was a few capuchins here a minute ago. I think they may have moved on, but if you go to the beginning of the video, you'll be able to see them bouncing around. So as fast as the monkeys come, the monkeys go. There's a little troop of monocatoblancas in the coconut tree. I was actually afraid to leave my laptop there because I didn't know what they would do. The floors are always so clean here. I hate to walk on them. So I guess that ends the monkey segment of this broadcast. Oh, well, actually, they're still over. Mono Cara Blanca. That's actually more entertaining than the whale tail. So maybe I'll go back over. If I do, they'll probably take off again. But maybe if when they see me eating, they'll want to hang out. These guys aren't super timid, that's for sure. They're wary, but they're not timid. I would classify them as wary, but not timid. Probably if I let my laptop down here, probably want to start using it. So we've got our special guest, Mona Blanca, up in the tree for this edition of Waking Up with the Monkey. Hola, Señor Don. see our special guest today, Mono Carablanca. And I don't think he speaks English. I think he speaks Spanish. Just to clarify, Don, earlier that was me behind the camera. This is the monkey. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between me and the monkey. The monkey is actually looking at the laptop. You can see the... I'm not sure if you can see the picture in the laptop or not. But if he sees himself, it's on a little bit of a delay. I wish I had the ability to zoom in with the laptop. But it's always fun having breakfast with a monkey. This guy's definitely curious. We're here at Restaurante Don Roger having breakfast with a monkey. There's actually quite a few of them up in the tree, but this is the most brave of the monkeys. So Senior Don, I was going to go zip lining on Tuesday, but those guys are going in the afternoon, and I don't like to do stuff in the afternoon because it's going to be all rain, and I'm not sure how those cables deal with being wet. I think they depend on friction to slow down. I'll be doing the zip line sometime, but not this week. So if you're just tuning in, I've got the camera over here by the coconut tree because there's a bunch of Mono Carablancas here, Capuchin monkeys. But they're out of view at this particular moment. So I can hear something on the roof. I think the zip line is down towards the Serpe River. Osa Canopy Tours. Wow, already. Muchas gracias. Ah, siempre. So my breakfast has already arrived. Maybe the monkey will come down and want to have some of my breakfast. But I don't think I want to share my breakfast with the monkey. Last time I thought the monkey was gone, so I moved and then came back. So they did a really good job on the road here. A little rough, but as far as Costa Rica roads, so they did a really good job. I'm not sure where the Mono Cara Blanca. Throw us back over to the ocean view. Yeah, the one that I want to check out that place that you were talking about. But they open at 11 a.m. I'd also would really love to do oh, there's a monkey in the book. I'd also like to do a live from 360, but I'm not sure what time they open. 360 restaurant in Okotoks. It's really cool. Like you go there, you park, and they pick you up in a golf cart and take you to the dining area, which is has an infinity pool and that kind of environment. It's not any place I would go on a regular basis, but a friend brought me there once. It was pretty cool. But it's very expensive. How do you pronounce the name of that restaurant, Tom? The one time I've got monkeys and we only had 2 viewers here. So I get for starting early. So you're saying that restaurant had a pretty good view too. Yeah, El Avion. I've been there. That's got a really nice view, but it's an hour away too, so that plays a role in doing a live. And Fusion has a really good view too. So I did a hike up the Bihuco Road today, or not today, Monday. It was like a 8 mile round trip, and it's uphill. It's uphill both ways. Yeah, I'm definitely going to Minical to see Sarah and everybody, and Brooke and Mike said they're going to try to go. It'll be interesting. That's moving day for you, I believe, isn't it, Don? You would think that when the monkeys smell this beautiful, delicious breakfast, they would come running over. So I'm within the next week or so, I'm going to do the Cirque River tour, which is pretty cool. You see lots of monkeys there, and you see a lot of crocs and a lot of different things. Have you started actually moving into the place already? I need to get an external mic when I do lives. I'm still working at getting that, get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. That's tough because YouTube just isn't showing my videos to people. Like when I watch I look at my stats, and I've got a lot of engagement. People watch my videos way more, all the way through, more than average. But they're just not giving it to people. It's not getting out to people other than my subscribers. The YouTube algorithm is a very complicated thing. Some people haven't mastered it. The only thing I can do is just keep making videos. It's nice when you can make a move like that, little bit by little bit. Poco a poco, as they say. I think it would be fun to do an impromptu live just from your office at the Whaletail Brewery. I say office because he's just kind of a steady fixture there. He's kind of taking a role there. He's kind of an unpaid employee at the Whaletail. What was the title they gave you? There's a beautiful spider web in that tree. I think it's an orb weaver. I'm not a spider expert. If Dirk was here, he could tell you, but I think some pretty big webs. Unofficial concierge of the Whaletail Brewery. It's kind of a merging of two worlds. We got the Whaletail Brewery appearing at El Mercado. They've got a little booth there where they're selling cold beer. I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping the monkeys were going to stay here and have breakfast with me. Yeah, I may do some lives at different times because a lot of places don't open until later. And if you're just tuning in, we had some monkeys here. Earlier on in the broadcast, we had some monkeys shaking on the tree. They have hopped out of view now. We're here at Don Roger in Uvita, Costa Rica. There's some beautiful hummingbirds here. I'm going to point this out more towards the whale tail. There's the view of the whale tail. And we just had some monkeys here. You can hear one of our chickens going in the background. That's definitely a Costa Rican sound that we get used to chickens. And there's Don Roger the rooster was just going a minute ago. Just a look at the restaurant here. My dining companion. I think this live broadcast is about to lay an egg. So I'm sitting here eating my eggs, and I got this chicken looking at me. At least I'm not eating McNuggets, Mr. and Mrs. Chicken. Well, thank you very much, Kate Wack. Need all the help I can get to get to that magical 1,000 mark. You missed the monkeys at the beginning of the broadcast. We had a couple. We had actually a bunch of monkeys in the tree here. So the monkeys got bored and they tuned out too. There's Don Roger the rooster. It is a whale tail, but it's not entirely low tide. It's close to low tide. Well, YouTube records the live broadcast, so you can go back and watch it after. Those capuchins can really cause a lot of mischief. But isn't that just like a monkey? When you want them to be in front of the camera, they run away. Yeah, this whole YouTube process is pretty challenging and frustrating at times. like I did a whale watching video, and I probably spent 2 days editing it, and I thought, wow, this is going to be go viral. It was such a good video in my mind. And then when I released it, after all that work, it kind of was of my last 10 videos, it was like number 8. And what the thing about it was, it's the people that did watched it all the way through, which usually doesn't happen. So it was, YouTube was telling me the quality of the video was good, but they decided not to show it to very many people. So I didn't get very many views. I'm working towards not spending so much time editing, because I spend way too much time editing. If I was paying myself to edit a video, each episode would cost me a couple $1,000 if I was paying myself to do the video editing. I need to spend more time just shooting some video and not getting too fancy with the editing, and just seeing more places, I think. Chair. Thanks for the tip, Don. I'm monitoring on my iPad, but it's hard to tell. One kind of different thing about Costa Rica, I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, I don't think there are any restaurants that aren't at least partially outdoors here in the Uvita area. Like the only places that are totally indoors that I can think of around here, I could be wrong, but there's Papa John's over in San Isidro. It's all inside and air conditioning. But here in Costa Rica, you're either like right out there or partially out there. Hola, Doug. How are things going in Canada? You missed the monkeys. We had monkeys here when I first started the broadcast. And some capuchins were in the coconut tree. At one point, I thought they were going to join me for breakfast, but they declined. So they're having a whale festival here. I think the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I always get those dates wrong, but at the 1st of September, they're having a whale festival. And I don't even remember that last year. And also, yesterday was get into the national parks free day, and I didn't even know it till at the end of the day. So is it starting to feel like fall in Canada yet, or is it still warm? I imagine Florida is still feeling like Florida. So I've got like 6 hens here having breakfast. Of course, as soon as I move the camera, they all run off. The howler monkeys are the cooler monkeys. They're kind of laid back. That's what I have more in my house. There's a lot of howlers that hang around. And they're a great alarm clock because they usually get up about the same time I do. So if I'm not up, the howlers are saying, "Come on, time to go." And if it's not the howlers, it's the chili coca. I'm not saying that right, of course, but the chili coca bird. They get started at 4:30 or 5. I keep I keep thinking I'm seeing a monkey out of the corner of my eye. Looking at that coconut tree reminds me of the last time I was in the States. I bought this coconut opening tool, and I forgot all about it. I need to find it and go test it to see if it works. It's one of those things that kind of punctures a hole in the end, and then you put your straw in to drink it. And there are spider monkeys around here, but I've never seen a spider monkey. I've only seen capuchins and howlers. And there's more species to see yet. But I think on that Serpe River tour, you got a good chance of seeing a lot of different species. Buenos dias, Kim. ¿Cómo estás? And we're here once again at Restaurante Don Roger. And when I first started the live, I had some capuchins in the tree here. That's why I'm in this different spot today. But as monkeys do, they're doing their own thing. So they're out of camera view. But I just have that monkey feeling there's a monkey around here somewhere. It is a beautiful morning here. So I did a really long hike on Monday. My legs are still sore. I hiked up the Bihuco Road. I got to get out on my bike and get some more exercise. Kind of defeats the purpose if I exercise one day and then it makes me so sore I can't exercise for the rest of the week. I don't have a house. I have just a small apartment. Yeah, we were getting deluged there for a while. I was down in Bahia not long ago, and there was that house that got flooded down there by the third exit or the third entrance to the national park, and now there was a tree that fell right next to that house, and that took a house out when that fell. I think it was a house. Maybe it may have been just a storage shack or something. But this tree was humongous because of all the moisture. The roots just can't hold. Another interesting thing about water and the beach. My friend Josue, who's a mechanic, um, was talking to me about the level of the ocean, and he said that, for example, at Hermosa Beach at the Osa Hermosa Beach, that at low tide you had to walk like 5 minutes to get out to the ocean, but the water has come up since that time. So now at low tide, it's the ocean's right there. So water levels have changed. Buenos días, Michael. ¿Cómo estás? So we're getting ready for the big whale festival here, which I've never actually been to. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. It's a 3-day festival here in Uvita, first week in September. I can't believe August is almost gone. That's something you don't hear very often here. There's a siren in the distance. I think that's an ambulance. That seems so out of place right now. I'm not sure exactly what goes on. I know they have entertainment, and I think there's discounts on whale watching, and I'm sure there'll probably be some uh, educational things um, to teach about the whales. But yeah, I'm looking forward to finding out. The humpback whales are just really fascinating, especially their migration process, how far they go and how long they go without eating. I was watching a documentary about them last night, and I don't know if you've ever seen that thing they do where they swim in circles and blow bubbles from a depth, under the water quite a ways, and they create this circle of bubbles to get the krill, which is kind of like a shrimp, and they get them to bunch up, and then they swim through it and have their feast. It's pretty amazing. They're such a smart creature. Yeah, that's pretty nice when you're up there and you can't hear the main road. Because even some of the places that seem like they're very remote, you can still hear like the jake break. That's kind of the way I measure it. You can still hear the jake break. You're kind of not as isolated as you want to be, because they really like to use that to slow themselves down with the big trucks. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the trade-off. If you're up in the mountains, you're ways from the beach, but I mean, it's still probably not too far of a drive, I imagine. Then you have the advantage of cool breezes up on the mountain. Where I am, I don't really have. It's very rare I have any kind of breeze, but I'm kind of in the middle of the jungle, and it kind of, I am at a lower level. I noticed this morning at my house that the cicadas are starting to act up. I think they go on for a couple of months. They can get really intense. I remember last year trying to do an intro to a video out in my yard, and I was just getting overpowered by the bugs. It was just so loud. Hola. Muchas gracias. Todo rico. Gracias.
¿Quieres algo más?
Todo listo. Perfecto. Gracias. Hey, Kim, safety first, right? But it's funny after you move here, you just kind of realize that your perception of what Costa Rica is before you get here is probably going to be different than when you get here. I know, like with me, it was because when I first moved here, I was a little disappointed because there was I live close to the not the city to the town. I live close to the central part of Uvita, so I get sounds from of course you get the sounds from the road and you get sounds from the different small businesses there. And I've got goats in my backyard. And then when I first moved here, I was like, oh, I wanted to be in the middle of the jungle, like I'm thinking like Tarzan movie or something like that. But I mean, you realize that the beauty of Costa Rica is everything that's here. It's the culture, the things that people do on a daily basis. It's just what the reality is. Somebody's weed whacking. That's just part of the ambiance. It's not like the idealistic uh, expectation. And it's funny because when people come here from Europe or the States or other places, they have this idea in mind. Like for instance, I did a video of El Mercado recently, and somebody said, "Oh, the music doesn't fit the vibe," and I know exactly what kind of music they wanted. They wanted like a peaceful little Spanish guitar, but I know all my friends are there at El Mercado. I help them pick the tables up at the end of the day sometimes. So they don't see themselves as that stereotype of the Spanish guitar and things. Which I mean, I've done the videos with that kind of ambiance, but I did one with some really peppy, kick butt music, and my friends thought it was great because it was it was adrenaline. It was an adrenaline kind of video, and I wanted to get away from the stereotype. And some people they think that they they know the vibe and they don't. No, I shouldn't say that. They know the vibe. Everybody sees things through their own lens. So yeah, their vibe is what their interpretation is. But don't tell me that I don't know the vibe of El Mercado because it's almost like family there. I go there more to hang out than to buy stuff. I learned much more about Costa Rica from my friends there than I have just about anywhere. Well, I don't know that. I think, I mean, it depends where you are. They start the leaf blowers pretty early here because it is so hot. So people start work really early. So you may, if you've got property somewhere, maybe you can isolate yourself from that. But like in my world, that's part of Costa Rica is maybe you're going to hear a leaf blower real early in the morning. But it's not going to be waking me up personally because I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I've got like from 5 to almost 6. Usually there's nothing, but I mean it's not surprising at 6 or after that to hear a leaf blower going, or there's a little small business on the other side of the jungle, and they've got kind of a circular saw they use, and it sounds to me like a sawmill of some kind. That's kind of cutting they do. So that'll start sometimes a little after 6 a.m., but it's not super duper loud. And I'm not like in a swanky place. I'm a low budget resident here, so in some ways that puts me closer to the what some might consider the real Costa Rica. But what is the real Costa Rica? That's something that's defined by each person. There was a guy on here that used to come to the lives. I don't think he does anymore, but he used to say, "Oh, that's not the real Costa Rica." Only he lived in the real Costa Rica. And I'm not that arrogant to be able to say that. Everybody has their own perception of what it is. And what I've learned, for me, my perception, I've learned to adapt to where I live and embrace the things that at one time I thought were out of place. Because I don't expect like Costa Rica to change for me. I adapt for Costa Rica. I mean, if you have the means, it's possible to live in a place where you're not going to be exposed to any of the noises of everyday life down below. I mean, and there's also everyday life of like agricultural areas here. It's a lot different. But here, I mean, I'm exposed to the hustle and bustle of the little town of Uvita, and it's a small town, but at the same time, it's a busy place between tourism and people just going to work every day. So it's been an interesting adjustment. You have to have the right mindset, in my opinion. You have to, and this is something that other people I've spoken with will agree with. You have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to. You come with your own preconceived ideas, and you have to be flexible if you want to be happy, I think. Yeah, Don, they were working on weren't they working on a container house there, like real early in the morning, earlier than you would like to be up? The thing that I hear first thing in the morning that actually, if I'm like half asleep, I'll hear it in the morning. I'll hear a gecko will start because they kind of signal the beginning of the day and the end of the day. They start their little chirping. But when the chili coca are, they must have been in their breeding season or something. It was like they'd be right outside my door or something, like yelling and doing their chili coca noise. And then there's the mono Congo. And it's funny, there was a time when I first got here, I didn't see any monkeys at all in my in my uh, in my yard and the jungle around me, right directly by my house. Then I went through a period where there was all kinds of howlers, and then uh, capuchins were all over the place for a couple of weeks. And they tend to come and go with different. They're after like specific things, like palm fruit. And these little apples, I think they're called monkey apples, that are in the tree that grows right above my car. But they come through fast and furious. So, if you're not home, you probably missed their last visit. Hola, Costa Rica Chronicles. Did you guys make your reservation for your zip lining? I've seen a few snakes, but I haven't seen the anything that I thought was poisonous. Like, no, I didn't see any fertile ants. I've seen some black snakes, but they were just moving fast, and I didn't really get a chance to look at them. I'm sure a lot more snakes have seen me walking down a trail or two. That's the thing about when you go to a national park or somewhere. If you go with a guide, they can show you the things. Like the snakes and maybe spiders. Now, see, speaking of weed whackers, that's just a common thing here. And it's just part of life here. But no, next time if you go early, I'll be right on it. I just know it's going to rain in the afternoon, but I'm going to pray for you that it doesn't rain in the afternoon. And it's funny because I told you that yesterday that every afternoon it rains, so I didn't want to go in the afternoon. And then yesterday afternoon it didn't rain, so it just made a liar out of me. That's one thing about the weather. If you try to act like you know what's going to happen with the weather like does its best to prove you wrong. And if you're just tuning in, you missed out on the monkeys in the beginning of the broadcast. We had some monkeys in the tree here, some white-faced capuchins, and they were causing a little bit of a ruckus. And I was hoping they were going to join me for breakfast, but they didn't. So really, this really is the real Costa Rica, where you'll hear the weed whacker and you'll hear the rooster, but you'll also hear you hear a monkey in a tree, and that's kind of part of the mindset adjustment. It's and it, like in the song "Sell Your Stuff and Move to Costa Rica." It's Benjamin says, uh, "Some say it's paradise. At the very least, it's very nice." That always gives me a chuckle to repeat that line. I still need to. I've seen him live, but I have not seen him do "Sell Your Stuff and Move to Costa Rica" because the time I went to see him, the new guy in the band didn't know how to play that song yet, so they didn't play it. But he's been playing around here quite a bit. Well, this is your second time doing that zip line, isn't it? Third. Oh my God. So I guess it's fun then. That paragliding thing looks pretty intense too. I just don't really like those harnesses they put you in. They just seem like they were really painful. What they look like. The GoPro remote. I don't have a remote for my GoPro. The only thing I use for remote for my GoPro is the phone. You have like an official remote. You know, you can use voice activation to turn your GoPro on. So if you got when they put the GoPro on the helmet, you can turn it on with voice activation. But it would be just easier just to leave it running, as long as you weren't doing real high frame rates. Because when I use high frame rates with my GoPro, it overheats and turns off. And I like to use high frame rates, and it's a pain with the GoPro. Like in my last video, I ended my video at 25% because the GoPro kept on telling me I didn't have any battery left. So it kept shutting off. And I had 25%. So yeah, I've got a love-hate relationship with the GoPro. I got to get out and shoot more with my 360. But the GoPro is nice here because you can, for instance, when I was on the whale watching tour, I didn't have to worry about it getting wet. Whereas my Nikon, if the boat started moving, I had to throw my Nikon into a plastic bag. And I guess I baby my camera equipment a little bit too much. But when you're here in Costa Rica, you can't replace things very easily. So you take care of your stuff. Yeah, and you're probably better off not messing with that right now. Anyways, just just turning it on and off by itself is fine, I think. But you just have to know, because I've done this before, where you turn it on and you turn it off when you think you're turning it on, so you miss the shot. And also, sometimes I put it in the wrong mode, so you end up like doing a time lapse when you're meant to do a regular video. So all the footage you think you've got, it's just a big, a quick time lapse of the whole event. You don't want to do that unless you're intending to do that, then you do. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up for today, and I'm maybe doing an impromptu live sometime this week, later in the day. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to get some things taken care of today. As usual, I'm way behind, but that's all I've got for this edition of Costa Rica Story. Make sure you like if you like it, subscribe if you want to. Most importantly, tell everybody about the website. So I need to get to 1,000 to change that up a little bit. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm going to end the stream now. And if you want to see the monkeys, go to the beginning of the broadcast. All right. Hasta luego.